Hi there. So today I want to talk to you about a video that went viral on TikTok recently, having to do with something called the Bristle Effect. And this video was done by wonderful sex therapist Vanessa Marin, who works with her husband Xander, and they do some really amazing things. You should follow them on all the platforms. They have written about this thing called the Bristle Effect. And recently, Vanessa went on TikTok and did some kind of a video there where she was discussing the Bristle Effect, and it garnered 7.6 million views and counting. And mostly people were interested in this thing called the Bristle Effect, because she talked about some other things there about her practice with her husband of making out every day. But really what people wanted to know about was the Bristle Effect. So the Bristle Effect is something that Vanessa Marin has kind of coined, and I see this all the time in my practice, where when you're with your partner and it's been a while, or it's somehow awkward between you about, your sex life, your intimacy, it's not feeling really easy and comfortable. When that's happening, oftentimes what will happen is your whole body will start to tense up or bristle, as Vanessa says, when that person, your partner, touches you in any way. They might do something as simple as just touching your arm, bumping into you a little bit in the kitchen, trying to hug you, something like that. And your whole body will bristle, will kind of react in a negative way, right? This is kind of the opposite to feeling warm and cuddly, bristling and feeling really uncomfortable. And the reason that this happens is there's a few reasons, but the first reason is that you have been worried that any kind of sex or a sexual touch or affection is going to lead to sex. So any kind of comfy, affectionate touch, like a hug, hand holding, anything like that, that is kind of signaling your partner that you want sex and you don't want sex. So it's a way that you're kind of using your body language. You're worried that any touch that you might have is going to give your partner the feeling that you want sex, and it's going to lead to a fight if you allow them to touch you or hug you or give you a kiss or whatever. And so you started doing this kind of a while ago so that they didn't get the wrong idea and that you didn't end up having some kind of a conflict about sex. So this is the origin of what's called the Bristle Effect, is this sense that or you're worried that any kind of touch is going to give your partner the expectation that you are down to sex, right? So you are using your body language to tell them that you don't want sex. So what ends up happening here is that you don't end up having touching and hugging and, some of the other things that might work for you. Unfortunately, sometimes this is what happens. And so your partner kind of does start to realize that if you ever allow any touching, that it kind of is a signal for sex. So this is one of the problems that lots of couples run into. And Vanessa has called this the Bristle Effect. So unfortunately, though, it becomes ingrained. So maybe you started out by kind of like not wanting your partner to touch you a lot because you didn't want to cue them that it was time for sex. And then eventually, though, it becomes ingrained in you. So in your body, you feel this like real discomfort whenever they brush by you or touch you. You start to get kind of the creeps almost. And it's your own relationship, which is very strange because you're feeling kind of creeped out by your own partner, if you know what I mean, which is very uncomfortable because this is the person you say you love the most, right? So that's the situation that's happened to you if you're somebody who's having this thing called the Bristle Effect. So here's what to do about it. There's 3 things you should do about it. The first thing is realize it. Realize that this is what's happening. So the next time that your partner runs into you, touches you, tries to hug you, comes behind you while you're at the dishwasher or loading the dishwasher at the sink, something like that, realize that you're experiencing the Bristle Effect. And Vanessa talks about this in a recent podcast about how, naming it makes it more powerful for us. So realize that you're experiencing the Bristle Effect. You could say like, oh, there it is. I'm feeling that. And then what will help you is to think back on times when you did welcome touch from your partner, right? Sometime in the past when they touched you or hugged you and you were like, yes, I want that. I want to touch you and hug you. Because really, this is just affection, right? This doesn't mean that you are open to have sex just because you let your partner give you a hug of the dishwasher. That is not the same thing. You don't have to have sex just because you held hands at the zoo, right? It's not like that. So you can have physical touch, physical connection, affection with your partner without agreeing to have sex. That's not like a contract for you that if you hug them, that it means you're going to be going to bed with them. So just realize that, think back on a time when you did like that physical affection, kind of notice that. And then of course, talk about the whole thing. Talk about it with your partner, because this thing doesn't get easier on its own. What you need to do is have a conversation. Now, I know that's super difficult. And that, I have something really good news for you, because this book, and I'm going to show it to you right now, it's called Sex Talks. It's written by Vanessa Marin and her partner, Xander. So Sex Talks, the 5 conversations that will transform your love life. This is a great book, was just published by them. I've mentioned this before since it came out maybe 6 weeks ago. It hit the New York Times bestseller list immediately, and it is a really good book for you. So get this book, get this book and go through those conversations, the 5 conversations that will transform your love life. This is one of the ways that you can start talking about sex with your partner and get rid of this yucky feeling, this feeling that you have, or every time your partner touches you, that you feel like you're going to crawl out of your skin, right? You need physical touch, you need affection, you need love, you need all the things. I'll put a link to the book in the comments here so that you can jump in there, or I got it at my local bookstore, Dudley's. If you're in Bend, Oregon, they carry it. But you can get it on Amazon. It's a fantastic book, has all sorts of helpful things. You could also follow them on Instagram or on the other platforms. They've got great advice, great information for you that you could use now. You could listen to their podcast, which is called Pillow Talks. And right, but if you're worried about the Bristle Effect, or if this is something that's happening for you, you can fix this. You can realize it. You can think about a time when you did enjoy affection with your partner, and you can talk about it. Talk to you next week. Bye-bye.